On the edge of death, what is waiting for us? Life on fast forward? Light at the end of the tunnel? Overwhelming peace and calm. Through all centuries and cultures, this is how people have described it. Can we really see into the afterlife and return to tell the tale? Or is it just a reaction of chemicals in our brains? Unlock the fifth dimension as science opens the door to near death. Resuscitation after a cardiac arrest. The doctors managed to revive the patient. A brush with death. And for a few people, something else.
It felt wonderful to be outside of my body. And when I came back into my body, I felt very heavy. And then I started experiencing all the pain associated with being back in it.
I was never afraid of the near-death experience. It was a beautiful experience because of the beam of light.
I know there is life after death. I know there is something on the other side.
I've had a similar experience. I know what it feels like. I know how dramatic and life-changing it can be. But I did investigate many of them, very many as I could, and never did I find any convincing evidence at all for paranormal phenomena during near-death experiences.
Near-death experiences, or NDEs, are what science calls these events. For the thousands touched by them, it can be a mystical, life-changing experience. But are these genuine glimpses into the afterlife beyond the grave, or the chemical reactions of the dying brain? Eastbourne, England, December 1979. 18-year-old Jeanette Atkinson is in intensive care. She's developed a serious blood clot in her lungs after a simple knee operation. Her condition is critical.
I arrived at the hospital in a very bad state. I was coughing blood, and I was in considerable pain because I could not breathe. And I didn't know what was wrong, and I was very, very scared and very frightened at the time.
Her mother, Daphne, despaired for her daughter.
The more ill you are, the nearer the door you are.
I was not expected to live, so I was close to the door.
I felt then that she would never come out of hospital, because to me it was such a danger point that she was in the first bed in that ward.
Daphne was filled with guilt. Trying to help, she had massaged her daughter's knee every day after the operation, not realizing she was making things much worse.
I was breaking up this clot that was in her leg. And I always blame myself for the fact that I nearly killed her.
I had 7 blood clots in my lungs, 3 on one side and 4 on the other. And 1 blood clot normally kills anybody, and 7. It's a bit of a miracle, really, I've been told, that I'm still here.
After 48 hours, Jeanette gave up fighting.
Above the doors was a clock, and the time was 9 o'clock at night. Then the light changed, and I felt very calm, very peaceful, and I didn't have any pain. I could breathe, and I thought, great, you know, I'm getting better. And then I started floating, and I went out of my body, and I could see me in bed, and I went up on the ceiling and started going up and down the ward, looking at all the other patients in their beds. From there, the light changed again, and around me started going very, very dark. And it was just a tube, a black tube that was turning and turning. And at the bottom of this tube was the most beautiful set of lights. And I was going to this light, and I just wanted desperately to go to this light because it was wonderful, it was peaceful, it was serene, it was everything you wanted life to be. I almost got there. And then a voice said to me, "Come on, you silly old cow, it's not your turn yet." And as quick as that, I was back in my bed, back in my body, still looking at the clock and seeing the time as 9:20 that night. And then it was quiet.
She's convinced that in that 20 minutes, she glimpsed the afterlife. For years, she kept what had happened a secret even from her mother. When she finally told her, the story became even stranger.
She said to me afterwards, a lady came to me, and I said to her, a lady? And she described my mother perfectly, in every detail. Now, my mother died when Jeanette was 3.
How could a childhood memory resurface so clearly? Whatever it was that Jeanette experienced, it gave her the strength to deal with another family tragedy, the death of her own teenage daughter.
Wherever she is safe because of this experience I've had. I've had a little insight into the other side, and I know when my time comes, my daughter will be there to take my hand and lead me through those lights at the bottom, and then I will have her forever. But right now, she's happy and she's safe.
As medical science improves, more people are being saved who in earlier years would probably have died. At the same time, the number of reported NDEs seems to be growing. For believers, they can offer great comfort. Psychologist Chris French specializes in the paranormal, and he thinks that belief in these experiences is fueled by a deep and universal human need.
I think so many people find the idea that near-death experiences offer a true glimpse of an afterlife so appealing is precisely because we all want to believe that we survive bodily death and that eventually we will be reunited with our loved ones who've gone before us, and that when we ourselves die, it's not the end for us.
Other scientists of many